back of this case you can see 3 plaques. And they're from Benin in what is now Nigeria. And they were made in the 16th century after the arrival of Europeans in Benin. So we're in a section now which is all about encounters and connections, this idea of the new world, exploration, discovery, people like Magellan and Francis Drake being the first people in history to sail right around the world, and the effects of the voyages of people like Captain Cook, and these famous encounters between civilizations, cultures, societies that hadn't had any contact before. Because you have the Oba in the centre, and on either side of him he has 2 attendants, and they're wearing belts that have alligator heads hanging off them, and that is a sign of status, and it basically means that they're allowed to talk to the visiting Europeans, which not everybody was. And the visiting Europeans are shown at the back, very tiny to make them look diminutive and not particularly powerful, wearing with long hair, which was obviously seen to be a kind of European trait, and then these kind of perky kind of feather adornments to their helmets. This is a Japanese pot made by the Jomon people. The Jomon people are the first people in the world to work out how to make pottery, which sounds maybe a little bit humdrum, but actually is enormously important because it means that they can live on the seafood and the natural resources that they have available to them, and they don't actually have to develop farming for a long time because they can make soups and stews, and their whole diet is changed by their ability to cook food in pots. So we've got a display here of, this is what I was saying about it not being just 100 objects, because there's actually a couple of other examples just to give a sense of the variety. But the object in question is here on this raised block. This bronze hand, which we looked at, as I said just before in the presentation, is a really, really, really personal object. And we think it was probably cast from life. And the reason for that is that it has a broken little finger. So when you look at it, it's not flawless. It looks very human and very idiosyncratic. So we think this is probably cast by a man called Talab, for a god called Talab Riam, who was one of the many local gods who were worshipped across Arabia before the arrival of Islam. So it's a devotional object. He's cast it from life, and then he's gone to a temple similarly to the Minoan figure and left it there. And it has an inscription which has been translated, which asks for good fortune and health and safety, basically. This is a group of objects which are rubbish, actually rubbish. They were found washed up on a beach in Kilwa Kisiwani, which is in Tanzania. So the reason that they're so interesting is that although they're found on the east coast of Africa, all of this material has come from a very, very, very wide geographical area. So you've got green celadon ware, which is from China. You've got blue decorated slipware here, which is from the Middle East. And then you've got the unglazed material, which is local to East Africa. And this allows us to tell this really interesting story about early medieval trade across the Indian Ocean, which, although it's 2,000 miles across, has extremely reliable tides. So merchants coming from China could easily anticipate safely arriving in East Africa. So this is a football shirt, which looks a little bit out of place in an exhibition of this nature. But as I said, it's very important in this project that we don't just apply this kind of care and attention and questioning just to ancient material. It's all about giving the same treatment to material from throughout time.